Okay. So, good day. I am Isaac Chukwumela Onita, and there's a good presentation on Johnson and Johnson. So, starting with the business strategy of Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson is a business that is solely dependent on diversification. And by diversification, J and J has purchased 70 different firms in the past decade, forming 250 subsidiaries. And there are three divisions which this company is built on. The divisions are number one is the pharmaceutical products, which we have Tylenol and Neosporin as one of the products. Then the other is it contributes 51% of revenue generated in sales. Also, another division is the medical device. It contributes 32% of revenue generated in sales. And you can see that these are the products that are out there for medical device. That are out there for medical device. So the third division is consumers products. It contributes 17% of the revenue generated in sales. Example of them list Listerine, Band Aids, Johnson baby shampoo, Johnson baby powder. So those are the products for that. So I want to talk about the analysis of microeconomy of G&G. Nearly 55% of Johnson and Johnson revenue comes from non-US markets. The company focuses on innovation. Innovation. They have a lab. They have a lab that is they provide a lab space for startup companies. Now, startup companies, we know that it is a huge capital intensive for them to get R&D starting up and running, buying the equipment that are needed for R&D. So what J and J does is that they provide that incubator space with all the equipment needed to run an R&D laboratory. That's research and development laboratory for drugs. Now that R&D, it helps startups for them to come in with their innovative ideas and get running. What it gives J and J, however, is an access to any new technology that's in the market, and there are the every year J&J gets an application for over 400 startups for them to be able to have access to that their laboratory which they give out for rent. There are 41 manufacturing facilities in Europe, 15 in Western Hemisphere, especially in the US, 36 in Africa, and Asian Pacific. Most of the manufacturing facility outside the US serve more than one segment of the business. And by far, when I say one segment of the business, I mean um, the pharmaceutical division, the medical device division, and then also the consumers division. So we can see that we have in the US, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, and so on. Stated. So now, growing up, there was an analysis that was done on the macro environment of J&J, and the analysis was tagged PESTEL. PESTEL analysis is an acronym which stands for politics, economics, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Now, for politics, we can see that there's so many uncertainties when it comes to politics in all those different countries that J and J operate in. About 200 countries they operate in, which has a chances of affecting their business. The continuity of their business is being threatened because of the different countries they go in. Because there could be a chance of military invasion, there could be a chance of taxation, labor law, level of corruption, regulatory body. Regulatory body, we talk about the price regulatory body, the drug safety, the pharmaceutical council. So all these are the challenges that the factors that could affect the macro environment of the G&G. Another factor is the economic factor. And the economic factor will look at the risks of inflation. Look at the risks of interest rates. Exchange rate is another thing because that could also have a huge effect on the production. Then the cost of labor and cost of production, the level of skills and the education of the citizen. Another than most importantly is the buying power, the buying power of the population, because we know that going to a marketing from because J&J is an American company, which is a first world country. Them marketing in a third world country or a second world country, that's there's a chance of that the population might not have that same buying power to buy those innovative brands, which makes it hard for them to gain a market share. Another thing is the social factor, which we talk about culture, language barrier, values, morals, and religious belief. Another one is the technological factor, which we can see that is a key thing of what J&J are into. They are out looking for the next big thing in the industry, the next groundbreaking innovation. And as such, the impact of such a product to the market and the population at large. So another thing is environmental factor, climate changes, weather, temperature, tropical disease, all these has a huge chance of affecting the environment of affecting J&J as a company. Then we have the legal factor, where there's a risk of patents, health and safety law to consumers protection. Now, when we talk about patents, we'll look more into it maybe as we go on. So the analysis of the pharmaceutical industry. Now, there was also a pestle analysis of the pharmaceutical industry, which highlights all the risks and the impacts of the industry. That's fierce competition in the pharmaceutical industry amongst top players. Because we can see the case of COVID-19 playing out a year ago, where all pharmaceutical companies, all hands on deck, trying to work on manufacturing of new vaccines that could be used immediately. We see that a few of them came true, and those ones were put in the frontier. So cases like Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and even J&J did something on vaccines, and that puts the rest of the pharmaceutical company on the backlights. Why this ones that did something that did a product on the front light? So those kind of fierce competition. Another thing is another point to look at is high technological advancement that forces pharmaceutical companies to adapt. So it has gotten to a stage where it's either you adapt or you die. Because if you do not adapt with time, you become oblivious. A point that we should also look at is the huge capital investment in R&D for new products and technology. Now, starting and going through an R&D process for a product is usually capitally intensive, and it's not easy for a company to invest so much in product and technology, which the aftermath, the payback period to get back such an investment is usually lengthy in time, and sometimes the recovery is not even fully recovered, as we can see in the next point, where the buyers of the industries are usually patients, hospitals, and pharmacies. So those are the major buyers they have in the industry. And then generics products spring up to convert 50% of the manufacture market share of the innovating brand. Like I told you, it is capitally intensive for them to invest into a product, and finally getting that product to come through is another thing. So when you get that product to come through, the thing is that generic companies, after their patent expires, generic companies come in to make to manufacture the same product but selling it a whole lot cheaper. Meanwhile, the innovating brand have not even been able to recover the money they invested in the products most times. And then that brings about them hitting about 50% of the market share, because those buyers, patients, hospitals, and pharmacy, all what they want is a product that can serve an alternative product that could serve the same purpose, which is usually seen in the third world country and the second world country. And those innovative brands they tend to lose a market share in those countries.